Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Sony ZV E10. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ronan. I make vlogs and I make product and tech reviews, and in today's video I want to talk about the Sony ZV E10. This camera has been on the market for maybe about a year or so now, and when Sony launched this camera I was really excited about it and I wanted to get it, but at the time I couldn't afford it, so I've kind of been like budgeting and saving for this camera to upgrade my YouTube camera here for you guys. And after Christmas I was looking around and I saw a really great deal on this camera, and I had the money saved and set aside for it, so when I saw that deal I snapped it up. So I am excited to start using this camera. And the main camera that I've been using on my channel since about 2018 is the Canon M50 Mark I, and there's an awful lot that I like about the Canon M50, but there's actually an awful lot that I don't like about the Canon M50. And I really feel like for the type of content that I create, the M50 really kind of limits me. And I'm hoping that all of the kind of areas where my M50 falls short, this camera shouldn't and won't. So I'm excited just to be able to kind of like up the quality and have a little bit more freedom as to when I film videos and that kind of thing, because the low light capabilities on the Canon M50 are pretty terrible for video, if I'm being honest, which means that I can only really shoot in daylight. And with this camera, that won't be as much of a limitation. I'll be able to shoot later into the evenings, that kind of thing, and the video quality will still be really good. So I'm super excited for that. But I think the first thing to do and the next thing to do right now is to take it out of the box. Okay, so the first thing that we see here is we have this sleeve on the outside of the box, and it has like Sony vlog camera ZV E10, and it says made for vlogging across it here. And then if we take this sleeve off, we just have the actual box itself. It has the nice Sony Alpha logo right here. It has like images of the camera and the lens. And just a quick thing, I bought this camera, I bought it with the kit lens, so it comes with the lens in the box here as well. Forgot my knife, so I have to peel the tape off. Okay, so first thing we have here is like an extended warranty card. And then we have European guarantee information, register your product on Sony.eu. We have manuals, more manuals, lens information and accessory information, lens manuals, the actual manual for the camera. It's in a lot of different languages, so I don't think it's that thick. There's a lot in there, so plenty of light reading for me. And now, let's see what else is in the box. Okay, so this is the camera. It's a really simple and basic setup. The camera is in just sort of like paper to keep it safe and protected. And the lens is already on the camera, but this is my new camera. It's really, oh, it's lovely. It's so nice. And one thing that's interesting is when Sony packed this, they actually have the screen, the flip out screen, exposed. This fully articulates, so you can have that kind of the glass against the body of the camera when you're not using it, which actually protects the screen, but Sony don't package it like that for some reason, so that's interesting. And then also in the box we have a power cable, very useful. We have this furry little wind muff thing, and I will talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. We have a European power cable. That's actually really useful. Okay, we have this little charging adapter, so I think either of these cables go into this, and then I have a cable here which is USB type A to USB type C, and so the USB type A end goes into this brick, and then either of these power cables, depending on where I am and where I need to charge, go into this one. And then finally in here we have our little battery. And then lastly, we have a strap that you can put on the camera. You can kind of like put this over your neck and have this attached to these metal ports here and here on the camera. I probably won't use this. Okay, so that is everything that comes with the camera in the box. So let me just clear away all of this really quickly. Okay, so I'm super excited to kind of learn how to use this camera and learn everything that this camera has to offer. I'm going to put the battery in before I do anything else and just see if I have any power in my new camera. Little on-off switch right on top here. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any power in this camera. What we're going to do is we're going to plug it in, charge it up for a few minutes. So before I charge this up, I just want to run through the ports that are on the camera right here. If I open up this door here on the side, we have 3 ports. We have a USB Type-C, which is for charging the camera. We have a mini HDMI, which is, you can use that for like if you want to use this as like a webcam or for streaming. And then there is also a headphone jack, which means you can actually plug headphones into this camera and you can actually monitor your audio while you're recording video, which is a really nice feature. And then on this door here, we have a microphone input. Microphone just goes in here, and if it's a mic like my vlogging mic, it can go into the hot shoe, which is just here. So your microphone sits on top and you can record your audio. This is the inbuilt microphone for this camera. So if you're filming or vlogging and you're out and about, you can just use the onboard microphone on this camera, and it's supposed to be a really good onboard microphone so that if you're like vlogging or whatever, you can just talk to the camera as normal and this microphone will pick up your audio. And this very little thing that we have here actually clips into the hot shoe. It just slides in and that just sits above the microphone. And what this basically does is if you have this on your camera, you're out in the world and you're vlogging, that kind of a thing, it just means that this will reduce the wind noise that your camera picks up. And I'll just show you on my Canon M50, I actually have one of these and I bought this years ago and I put it on my camera, made a video about it at the time. So what Sony have very cleverly done with this camera is they've actually included this with the camera. It just slides on or comes off as you need it. That's awesome. Now I'm just going to charge this up. Okay, so the Sony ZV E10 with the kit lens cost €849 to buy in Ireland, and that seems to be a pretty standard price pretty much everywhere you go. As I said at the outset of this video, I actually got this for a really good deal. So when I was looking around, I saw that Curry's actually had this camera and they were selling it for $699, so that's how much I paid for it. This video isn't sponsored by Sony or by Curry's, I'm mentioning the deal that I got on the camera. I don't know if it's still available from Curry's at $699, but generally this camera and the lens costs $849. And for all of the kind of specs and features that this camera has, I actually think $849 is a really good price for what you're getting. The fact that it's an interchangeable lens, the fact that it shoots in 4K, those are things that you would normally expect on a camera that costs more than €1,000 for the body only before you even put a lens on it. I really think this camera is great value. Okay, so hopefully there's a bit of power in this and I can see what this thing is like now. So, we switch it on. So my camera is on. One thing that's really exciting here is that it actually looks like I can film with this camera while it's plugged in. I've got the camera plugged in and it's on here, and I'm just gonna see if I can record. So I'm now recording on my Sony ZV E10 and I'm zooming in on my Canon M50 and my battery is still charging. This is super exciting for me. This means that I think I can actually run this off the mains, which is incredible. Okay, so the camera has 5% battery, so I'm just kind of gonna live with that for the purposes of this video. So what's really good is this has eye detection autofocus. And what's cool about that is basically the camera is trying to detect my eyes to focus on me. I just want to change 1 or 2 settings in here, I think, very quickly. I have turned off the active steady shot image stabilization because it was cropping in a huge amount. So I'm actually going to just hit record here. And what's really cool here is if you look at this, there's like a red rectangle around the viewfinder here. And that lets me know at a glance that I'm recording, but also behind my finger, I have a red light right here, and that also shows me that the camera is recording, which is really, really great. Okay, so I just had to plug this camera back in, but I'm using the Sony ZV E10 to vlog, and the audio that you're hearing is still from the Canon M50. And one of the features that I'm most excited for with this new camera is called Product Showcase. And what that is, basically you can see now I'm currently in focus on the camera. However, if I show you this, the camera focuses on my old camera and then back to me. And then back to the camera again and back to me. What that function basically is the camera is smart enough to know that I'm showing the camera a product. So you will have often seen with a lot of like product reviews, that kind of thing, person holds something up to the camera, they sometimes put their hand behind it. And the reason they do that is that the camera will always try and focus on the face of a subject. So with this, the camera is actually smart enough to know that you are showing it something other than you, and it knows to focus on that thing. And that's something that you can turn on or off in the camera. So when it's off, the camera will always just try and focus on your face. And then there's a button on top here that I'm really excited to try. So this is the camera kind of at its widest. I'm in focus. You can see the light behind me here. But then if I turn this on, what happens is everything behind me kind of gets blurry, and kind of get that nice blurry background that you see in a lot of like cinematic videos and that kind of a thing. Usually you need a really expensive lens to get that effect. If anyone has a kind of a relatively recent iPhone, you'll have something similar with portrait mode on your iPhone. So I'm really excited just to get using this new camera and kind of learn all of the quirks and features that it has. And I'm really excited just to kind of try it out in kind of more low light settings. But that is my initial unboxing and sort of first impressions of the Canon ZV E10. Cannot wait to use this camera more. Cannot wait to just improve the quality of my videos with this camera. But for now, I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you liked it. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you guys in my next video.